it's burning for you. Lance Bush is burning, it's burning for you. Lance Bush is burning, it's burning for you.
Welcome to another edition of Len's Burning Bush. I am Len Harvey. Before I bring on my guest for the week, I want to talk about what's really burning my bush. So for the first time in 103 episodes, I am actually going to give a shout out to a listener and give them the chance to give what their burning bush is and what's burning their bush at the moment. So it's kind of interesting. Justin Steele from Cincinnati, Ohio, tweeted at Len's Burning Bush this week. He has been a longtime follower of the show on a weekly basis. Got to give him credit and propers for that. He tweeted, when I binge podcast episodes, instead of going to the next episode, it unfortunately goes back to the previous one. I don't think this occurs for every podcast format, but when it does happen, it really burns my bush. So first, thank you to Justin for actually understanding me. Things bother me all the time, and this is what burns my bush. And I'm glad he gets the show. And now we really have to get to the bottom of this in particular. We really do. Because we don't want to have a situation where you're trying to binge Len's Burning Bush and there's 103 episodes and you're listening to episode 102 and you got to go back one. It should automatically go to the next one. In Justin's case, he used Apple iTunes. Don't want to, criticize Apple until I find out a little bit more. But if anybody else has been experiencing this problem, please tweet at Len's Burning Bush, and I will get to the bottom of this. Because again, we need to get through this. It's hard enough, as I mentioned, with 103 episodes since April the 12th of 2020. So let's work smarter, not harder, and get this fixed. You should be able to binge from episode to episode. And I had an episode a couple of weeks ago about binge or not to binge. We should be able to binge the way we want to binge. So the other thing that is bothering me this week is I should be getting a little more excited. April is my birthday month, and normally I'd be, pretty excited about it, but it's getting to the point that it's not that it's getting older is bothering me. It is not, because that has not bothered me at all, the fact that I get older and experiencing. But it's the fact that everyone is in my wallet. Yes, everyone, including IRS, right? April 15th, they want some money. The second thing that occurs is every vehicle in my house is registered to me, which on my birthday month, again, I've got to now write a check for all of those vehicles, including motorcycles, to the state of Kentucky, because Kentucky is one that takes the vehicle tax on the value of the car in addition to the registration. So a huge bill. I got to write a check to Uncle Sam, and then I need to write a big check to the state of Kentucky. So happy birthday to me. As if 54 wasn't bad enough, I have to deal with this stuff. My goodness. With that being said, it's time to bring on my guest for the week. She last appeared on episode 27, way back in season 1, in the National Everything Day episode. So make sure you go back and listen to see how brilliant she was in that. She's going to be brilliant again. Let's welcome for the second time the very lovely Nicole O'Brian. And Nicole, I'm going to put you up on the big screen so that you can see and everybody could see you. And welcome again to Len's Burning Bush.
Hey, how are you?
How are you? Well,
I'm good. I'm good.
It's good to see you. I love the beach theme that you got going on. Sorry.
April 18th is tax day, so you've got 3 extra days.
Oh, geez, that helps a lot.
Okay.
Well, it's still in the same month, though. And I just, April, you're right. April, I automatically go to April 15th because I'm.
No, I know. That's what everybody does. Yeah. But I just figured, hey, you got 3 more days that you can hold on to your money.
That's exactly right. And the fact
is, bastard, you.
I am a cheap little F, but it's just a big check. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the big.
No, I know.
Elaine wanted the big salad, and I've got the big check. I got to write the big check, I'm not happy about this at all. But again, these are minuscule problems in the world. But have you ever tried to binge other podcasts? And have you had it where it goes to the previous episode? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I don't know why it would be like that. It seems like common sense that it would just go to the next episode. Why is it going backwards?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Well, he experienced this problem. So Justin Steele, who lives in Cincinnati, Ohio, thank you again.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah, hey, exactly. We got to make sure that Justin feels the love because, who's tweeting at Len's Burning Bush and listening every single week? Come on.
But, I mean, really, it's just a couple of pushes of buttons. It's not like he's out there with a hoe and a hay bale and, working his ass off.
Oh, again.
So, come on.
But again, Len's Burning Bush, most of the stuff is minuscule problems to the world. Yeah. This is why he gets it. He gets the show, Nicole. He gets it. He understands that these are the things that bother me.
Just things that bother
little
you.
things. It's the little things, not the big things. Although in this case, the IRS, it's a big thing.
That's a big thing.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. I get ticked off about that too because they're taking what, like 20 some odd % of your hard-earned cash?
At least, yeah. It's frustrating, especially when you pay all year. Like I get a lot of commission checks, and they take a bunch out, and you pay all through the year, and it's just upsetting to even have to pay at the end of it. Why not just whatever you're supposed to get taken out, just take it out, and then I don't have to write another check at the end of the year. It just makes me crazy. Like
well, if you have a really good accountant, they can probably figure it out. Well, although I guess with you and commission checks, those are always different.
It's always different, and he does a good job. My accountant, I've had my friend since 1993. I've had the same account.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's he's a friend of mine from New Jersey. Actually, still does my taxes.
Jersey?
Yeah, Jersey.
No, okay.
Jersey and Jersey. So, what has been new with you going on? I know in the last episode you told us how Tinder actually saved your life. Why don't you revisit that story? Because that is a great story, and people might not have listened to it before.
Right.
And again, we'll go back to it. You had a health issue, and luckily you're still with us. Thank goodness. This was before COVID, right? This was well before COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. This was 2018. Last couple of days of 2018, I had a cardiac arrest. Oh. Totally out of the blue, unexpected, and luckily, one of the people that happened to be at my house, and luckily I was at home with friends over and not home by myself, he knew how to do CPR. He was trained to do CPR with the job that he has because sometimes he'd have to go overseas into dangerous areas. And thank God he knew how to do it. He saved my life. My girlfriend, Meg, was also over. She's the one that found me passed out. And they called 911 and took care of me. So Tinder is where I met him. So it was like our third or fourth date, which is quite a thing to go through. But we're still really good friends. I still see him. He lives in Hawaii now. Hopefully going to go out there and see him soon. And Meg, actually, I'm going to see tonight. We're very good friends. And I just, how do you thank people when they do something like that for you?
I don't think they want to be. I think just the fact that you're there with them. I think that it's one of those things where if it ever happened where I were to save some, I wouldn't want them to be, indebted to me just because it's just your duty. You see somebody not doing well, you've got to help them. It's just,
right.
That's
I guess, but you know what? Every day I in the back of my mind, it's always there. Well, one, will it happen again? Right. I was afraid of that. Hopefully not.
No.
But two, it's just like I feel so indebted to them that I want to do something for them. But what can you do?
Just be you. Be your friend. Be their friend. That's kind of the best thing, because if you consistently do that, then they get their it's back tenfold, right? That's the way. Just be you. Be kind, like you are. You're kind. You're very kind.
God damn it!
Damn it! No. You're kind. You're very kind. She's kind. She's doing it. But anyway, I have some sad news to report. I don't know if anybody realized this or saw this, but unfortunately, Taylor Hawkins, the drummer of the Foo Fighters, passed away last night. He was 50 years old, and the Foo Fighters came out, and they're devastated by the tragic and untimely loss of our beloved Taylor Hawkins, which was posted to social media. His musical spirit and infectious laughter will live on in all of us forever. And the Foo Fighters were currently on tour in South America, and this happened. That is just awful. Awful news.
Jeez. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. 50 years old.
I know.
Do they have any more news on it yet?
Not that I've seen as of this morning, as of Saturday. I don't know. So we'll be getting more news in there. There's been people like Miley Cyrus, who's a known Foo Fighter fan, has come out and said, "Peace, my friend." She had a rough go of it this week. I don't know if you saw, but Miley Cyrus' plane was struck by lightning. This is not good news for me as someone who is going to be flying soon. But
my God.
Yeah, bad weather. Of course, they had to embellish this with a little bit of took a wrecking ball to Miley Cyrus's festival plans. I'm sorry, but the Party in the USA singer revealed on Instagram she was headed to Paraguay when her plane got caught in a major unexpected storm and was struck by lightning. The crew, the band, the family, all were traveling. They are safe after the emergency landing. But imagine that and then your friend, or at least the band member Hawkins dies. Just sorry, we're sending our prayers to the Hawkins family, because that, Foo Fighters. My cousin Lisa is a huge Foo Fighter fan, and she's already on social media. She's wearing black, and it's just, luckily all of her material from Foo Fighters is black anyway. But it's just a rough go. It's amazing. We get so. With artists or entertainers, or you feel like you know them when and then when they pass away, it's such a tragedy. But it's great band. I mean, you think about Dave Grohl. I mean, he was in Nirvana, Hall of Fame band, right? Foo Fighters,
He's
Hall of Fame.
He's a Virginia guy, also.
Yeah. And the Foo Fighters just got in last year, right, to the Hall of Fame, I think. So the fact is, this situation. Even Ozzy Osbourne tweeted. Out there. Thank goodness he tweeted and not spoke, right? It would be easy. It's easier to find. Like, there's certain people that
what he's saying then.
There's certain people that need to tweet. But, unfortunately, got to mention it about the tragic death. So one thing I want to kind of segue, this is way out of the, it's kind of a weird segue, but I'm married. You were married. Now, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Anniversaries can, I guess, be forgotten, but would you remember?
Should they be?
Well, I'm just trying.
Okay.
Would you, if you were asked what date you got married or the day you got married, you'd remember that, right?
Of course.
Of course.
How do you not?
Well, apparently Matthew McConaughey, the McConaughey's, they have a relationship. Camilla and Matthew, they say they're soon celebrating a decade of marriage. Can't agree over the official date. They said, Matt and I, listen to this. This is a cop-out. Matt and I are just not good with dates with our marriage. The 40-year-old Brazilian model revealed in an interview to Entertainment Tonight, which published Tuesday. We go back and forth all the time. They were indeed married on June 9th, 2012. It was only 10 years. How could you not remember 10 years ago? I mean, it's just.
Even I kind of know, because I know they did sort of like a glamping thing for their wedding.
Yes, they did. I remember the glam.
Right?
I did an episode with Gordy Deal, who you remember from Metro.
Oh, yeah.
We did a glamping episode, and we talked about that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Glamping. I didn't know what that was.
Glamping. Although I would do that.
See, I'm not a camper. I don't like to be out. I mean, I like being outside, but I don't like
nature.
I don't know. My idea of roughing it is in a hotel room that doesn't have Wi-Fi. That's
oh my God.
That's great. I don't need to be
the horror.
I mean, I don't need to be sleeping in a tent when an animal could be coming in. I just have no
Yeah, but have you ever slept outside? You get a really good night's sleep.
Yeah, I've slept outside before.
Although now I have a CPAP, so I've got to find a place to take that.
Oh my goodness, you're taking the CPAP. Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Well,
you got to do what you got to do,
sleep apnea is really
You should put
bad
that
for
on your
heart.
Tinder dating profile.
Just have a picture of me.
I think that'd be terrific. Please date Nicole. She's got the CPAP. I mean, you know what? If you're honest,
that makes it sound like I have a disease. She's got the CPAP.
The CPAP machine. That's what I meant. So you don't have a disease. Is that a new disease now? No, it's
CPAP.
just she's got the CPAP. She's got to sleep better with this thing and make sure I think it would be great if you put that as your profile picture. Okay. I think the person that picks you would probably be a true person, because that's people can't fake that. That's a great idea. I think you should do that. Put it on.
Okay, I will.
We'll see how many dates you get from that. The dating game. I have a friend. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say, stay married because dating sucks.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
I have friends all the time. I have one of the people that's been on my show a couple of times, Dana Race. She is dating, and dating after 40 is bad. Dating after 50 is even worse, right? But she's trying to find somebody, and every time she does, she calls it the tools of dating. Tools. And meaning tools like
the tools.
They're the tools, yeah.
Okay.
Because you find somebody you think you're going to get into a relationship with, and then they're texting their ex-girlfriend, or they're going on social media commenting on other people's stuff and doing stuff. So she finds that it's like you can't find anybody. It's very difficult to find somebody these days that is dating is hard.
Do you want to hear a story?
I would love it. We got plenty of time. I'll put you on.
Okay.
How about this? I'm going to put you on the big screen, and I'm going to say, Nicole O'Brian, everybody, and she's going to tell us how not to date or to date, right? That is the question.
No. I'm just going to tell you a story about a date that I went on.
Okay.
So first of all, he went to there. We were meeting at a Cooper's Hawk. There were two. He was nearer the one that I meant, so I just assumed we would go to the same one. Anyway, so he ended up being 45 minutes late because he went to the wrong Cooper's Hawk.
How does this happen? Let me stop you 1 second. I mean, you go to the wrong Cooper's Hawk. I mean, didn't he set that up, or did you?
I don't remember. This is this was pre-pandemic. Anyway,
all right. Well, finish the story. I apologize.
Regardless. So he was late. I let that go. We had a very nice date. He was very cute. Very nice kisser. I don't usually kiss on the first date. You know me.
Kiss and tell. Yes.
But anyway, so and he lived in Colorado, but he came to Virginia like every 3 weeks, I think. So anyway, we continued to talk until the next time he was going to be in Virginia. And one Saturday morning, he sends me a picture of this woman lying in bed. And he said, "Oh, that's my sister." I'm like, okay. It was a very provocative picture though. Not that she showed anything, but it was just a very, like something you might send a lover of yours when you wake up in the morning. So then we kept talking. As it turns out, he and his sister send each other pictures like that all the time. And he's like, "Does that bother you?" I'm like, "It's a little weird." He goes, "Well, we're very close." Yeah, I don't think you should be that close with your sister. It was very odd.
That is very, very odd. There's some therapy.
Really big. So I really hated to give that up.
We won't talk. This is record, just so you know. This is going over the air right now.
Okay.
I understand that, but the sister probably likes it just as much. So there you go.
Isn't that weird though? There are so many weirdos out there.
Yeah. No, I know, and therapy needs to happen for some. And that would be a definite therapy case of the sister, right?
Yeah, if you're turned on by your sister and you're that close.
Yeah, there's something not right with that. I think it's kind of crazy.
But that's just a drop in the bucket of the people that you'll meet. I don't understand. Were they always around and we just didn't see them?
Yeah.
Are people more open about their likes and dislikes?
Yeah, I think it's possible now that people feel freer to express that kind of stuff. But that's really weird. The sister thing is just kind of...
That was too much for me.
Yeah, I would imagine that would not be somebody... So a second date, that didn't happen after that? No. I would think so.
No.
So
I can't compete with a sister.
No, absolutely. It's she knows.
I don't want to compete with a sister.
No, jeez, I can't believe we're going there. Speaking of going with sisters, Jerry Springer is now officially leaving he's left the studio for now. The cancellation of Judge Jerry after 3 seasons leaves Springer without a small screen home for the first time since the Springer Show launched back in 1991. He has done 40 years. He did the Raucous Circus. That would have been a great Springer episode, or Maury Povich, or something. I date my sister, that would have
I'm in love with my sister.
Yeah, I'm in love with my sister, and I take weird, provocative photos, and I do that with Jerry Springer. I've met Jerry, and Jerry's a really nice guy. He's very smart. He's got a law degree. He certainly knows his stuff. And
I didn't know he had a law degree.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he was actually the mayor of Cincinnati. I don't know if you remember that, but he unfortunately wrote a check to a provocative young lady, and then it bounced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was back in the day. But he actually, he was mayor. He was on TV for a long time too in Cincinnati. So he did that. But he's interesting stuff. But Jerry Springer, no more. Judge Jerry, all these judges. Now they got Judge Steve Harvey. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I saw that. I haven't seen the show, but I saw it.
No, he's not wearing the robe, though. He said, I'm not going to disrespect, because people know that he's not a judge, right? So I don't know if you saw this, but there's going to be a new Marilyn Monroe movie coming out on Netflix.
How are they doing that?
I think that they're going to have Anna de Armas from Deep Water. She's going to be the iconic actress and pinup model. She was given the actual, you'll love this, the movie has been given an NC-17 rating. So it'll be a little risque for Netflix, but we'll see. The director said that they insisted on hiring Jennifer Lame Tenet to curb the excess of the movie, but again, it's Marilyn Monroe. The show Blonde. It's called Blonde. Okay, so that's what it's called. Co-stars Adrian Brody, which we know Brody does a bunch of stuff.
He's a handsome man.
Yeah, Bobby Cannavale. Julian Nicholson. The film was originally rumored to premiere in May outside of the competition at Cannes, or Cannes. It's Cannes, right?
It's Cannes. I don't think you say the S.
Cannes, okay. And that's in,
But I could be wrong. What the hell do I know?
What do I know? But reportedly no longer expected during the festival. If Blonde does open in the theaters before moving to streaming, NC-17 could be an obstacle for some cinemas that are streaming it. But this is supposedly they've not announced. Netflix officially hasn't announced any. I would definitely go see it though. I'm interested in Marilyn Monroe. I'm fascinated with all.
I love Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
I think me, she is the perfect size woman. Like that. I just think that we go too crazy.
Like a size 12.
I know, and she's perfect. I mean,
but in our time, I think we're going back or swinging around to letting women be the size they should be.
Yeah.
And not some tiny little skinny thing that doesn't eat. If that's the way you are, that's great. But for some of us, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
To be like that. So, and she was just a healthy looking person.
Yeah.
That's how you should be.
And I agree. And I think more and more people should be like that. So that is kind of, but Marilyn Monroe movie, Blonde, I will wait to see that. I can't wait. We talked about getting older. Unfortunately, that is the case. But Godfather, you want to feel old now. The Godfather is 50 years old. It apparently debuted in theaters on March 24th, 1972. It is now 50 years old. It is the Paramount Picture film for a period was the highest grossing film of all time, $243.8 million worldwide. And that adjusted for inflation would be about $1.6 billion.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, today. Coppola was 32 back then when he did it. Of course, they made Godfather 2, considered as good, right? But the third one, people didn't like it as much. A slew of Oscar nominations, but it is Godfather. What are your thoughts? Did you love the Godfather? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna. Can I admit something?
Yeah, go right ahead. You've never seen it.
I don't think so.
So I brought up something you've never seen. I apologize. No, that's my fault. I should vet this stuff.
I get teased a lot for a lot of movies that are classics that I should have seen, and I don't think I did.
Yeah,
I don't remember. It could be. Maybe that's it.
Well,
hey, did you see the I Love Lucy movie?
I have not yet. Is it good?
Okay. I don't know, because I'm not a Nicole Kidman fan, and I truly think they screwed up by not having Deborah Messing.
Oh, right. Deborah Messing would have been good.
Nicole Kidman, that casting I don't understand at all.
But they must have saw something that would allow them to Nicole Kidman in there. I don't know. She seems to be good in most everything though. You don't like her. You're not a fan. I'm
not a fan. Sorry, Nicole.
Did she not return your phone call? What is this hatred towards Nicole Kidman? I mean, she dated Tom. She was married to Tom Cruise. That would be one thing I would say.
Yeah. No, I don't hate her. I just
dislike.
I'm not a big fan.
Not a big fan. All right. Hey, my wife.
And she's not good with accents.
No. My wife's not.
But neither am I.
My wife's not a big fan either because she likes her. My wife likes her husband, and so
Keith Urban
and Urban. The fact that she doesn't like her either. So you got two people that don't like Nicole.
Okay.
Nicole O'Brian, Susan. They do not like Nicole Kidman. I'm sorry to hear that. So unfortunately,
I wish her all the best.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think that. Wish her the best. It's always nice. You got to be kind, right? You got to be kind.
Of course.
So, you and I have worked in the radio and television market. You worked in New York and you worked in D.C. I worked in New York and Cincinnati. And, we always have to make sure, and this has happened many times, that your mic is turned down when you're having conversations outside of your stuff, right? You don't want to say something like what we were talking about before the show. You don't want to have aired. That's the way it works, right? You want to just have conversations that are private.
Right.
Apparently, we had another hot mic incident. I don't know if you saw this, but British figure skating announcer Simon Reed was heard on a hot mic calling Olympic gold medalist, now coach, Megan Duhamel, that bitch from Canada.
Whoa.
His broadcasting partner, Nikki Slater, laughed at the remark. Both were suspended by the International Skating Union, the ISU, on Thursday. A day after making the disparaging comment, the ISU is shocked by the language used by the two. I always find it interesting that people say they're shocked. I mean, let's be honest here. We all say worse than this on a daily basis. I'm not shocked at all.
Right.
I think people get outraged over everything. I think you would be shocked or outraged of the fact that he would openly say that. But again, he didn't know that or at least think that the mic was on. He was saying it off the mic. But there's no place for this harassing and abusive language or remarks or behavior, right? But
first of all,
he
didn't say it to her, so I don't think he was harassing her necessarily.
No, it was something.
Is she a bitch?
Well.
I mean, more than
likely, if the shoe fits, right? Sometimes, I don't know. I don't know of her, and I don't. It's kind of interesting how prior to the incident, Duhamel had criticized Reed and Slater for their commentary and called the ISU to replace them. So there's a little bit of a history here. So I think that's what happened. But the ISU YouTube feed commentary said it was sad that the Russians are at the Worlds, and then admitted they don't watch skating often, so they aren't sure about jump rotation. I don't know. The hot mic comments were tweeted. Yeah. Duhamel responded, "Ha ha ha, well done," and tagged the ISU account. So doesn't sound like she's any better in this mix. So she caused the problem. But again, you always have to assume. You know what happens when you assume? You make an ass out of you and me. But you always have to assume the mic is on.
You have a mic in front of you.
Yeah. I
always assume it's hot.
Exactly. And it's hot just as you are at your, right? There you go. We could go back to all of this. But, the Metro days were a few years ago. But, what's interesting is a few years ago, I've done 103 episodes. And I think if I'd count, I probably had half the people have worked with me at Metro at the Fortunoff building in New York City, right? Would you agree? If you go back to the guest
a lot
list.
Of interesting people.
Yeah. Yeah, we met a lot of interesting people. It was fun to do. We did traffic reports for radio and television stations, and we would be in a room. You and I met doing Cablevision.
Right. Was it like 20 by 20 room? How big was that room?
Maybe a little bit bigger, but not much bigger. Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah, no, it was tight. It was tighter. And then we had other rooms. So we stayed in this room, and they closed the door because we were kind of like the don't feed the animals in the circus. But
that's true.
It was fun. I had a blast.
It was a good time.
Yeah, and I miss everybody. That's why it's great to catch up with you. When you got sick, I was worried, and now you're doing great. You look great. I hope that We'll get you on again, of course. Just continue to do this. You have anything that you're working on now? I know you mentioned you're doing a little renovations around the house, but anything career-wise? Any chance get back to have Nicole O'Brian doing any kind of reports?
I always want to go back, and I have. I've gone back and forth so many times. I don't know. The hours are really bad.
Yeah.
If I could get something where I could work like 10 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon, a midday shift, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But that's really not around, I don't think. But how do you think traffic reporting is going to continue with the way things are because of the pandemic and a lot of people working remotely now?
I think it's kind of like a bell curve.
Is it something that's always going to be there?
I think it's always going to be there. You're going to have to provide information. And one of the things that local radio does better than anything is give local information that you really can't get anywhere else. Because you ever tried turning on it's not local enough. I mean, there are obviously they're gonna have television stations are still going to do their traffic in the morning, and I really believe that radio will continue to do that, and you'll still need the people to actually have a separate person doing it rather than. I just think you always have to have that, just like you have the weather. Yeah, I think so.
Well, no, I can understand the weather. A little bit more, but traffic, and especially now you can just go on Google Maps or something and you can see where
there's no personality with that.
No, there's not. That's true.
I mean, I have live traffic in my car, but it's not the same thing to hear like Nicole O'Brien's voice and say, we have traffic on the Beltway or something.
You got to back up.
Back up in the Beltway. Yes, exactly. See, that's...
Or the one I used to, and we've got a truck that lost its load.
Yeah, that's a good one. We might have to make this show NC-17 pretty soon. I was hoping I'd keep in the kids, but I think we're moving on to another area here. But yeah, I always like the jackknife track. I always like to, it's funny, you look back at some of the reports and people, in New York, they called it an accident. In Cincinnati, it's a wreck, and they have a berm. There's language is different. Traffic reporter language is a little bit differently.
Wasn't there a big thing about how you're not supposed to say accident anymore?
Yeah, no, agreed. Yeah, you're not.
I think that's stupid.
It's
an accident.
It was an accident. It wasn't on purpose, right?
Right.
It just got into a little bit of a fender bender.
Fender bender.
There was so many of those words that we can go back and forth and use, and I always like to do Long Island because it was always backed up. I mean, you're just. Sure. You're just
the LIE.
The LIE. It's backed up all the way, right? Just pretty much from Nassau to Suffolk County.
My son had he had gone out to Long Island, I think last weekend, and he was telling me where he was. I'm like, oh, that's exit 39, or this is exit that. He's like, how do you know all that?
Yeah,
it's many years of being a traffic reporter. You can remember them.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny how you do remember the exits. I actually remember something kind of weird. So I did news on WFDU FM in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Did you go to Fairleigh?
I did not. I went to St. John's a little bit, but I did not go to yeah. So
it wasn't related to Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Wasn't. Well, it is, but it wasn't related to being a student. Like it's a volunteer radio station that's been around forever. So I did news in the morning. I had a couple of guests on recently that we did. And one of the things, because it was a station that gets funding, it would get grants, right? So there would always be a grant from something. And for some reason, there was always a grant, and I listened to it. It was always in my head. And you remembered it, and it was like, I remembered the zip code to Lansing, Michigan because of it. It was like Lansing, Michigan, 48901. And I remembered that because of the it's always in your ear, and you just remember certain things because you get over and over and over again, just like the exits and everything else that go on. So, but
that's your traffic up to the minute.
Up to the minute. There you go.
You can remember all your taglines.
You can. And they say that advertising doesn't work, but meanwhile, you get up every day and you get into your advertised car and you get into, you use your advertised toothbrush and all this other stuff. So it does work in some way.
No, it does work. Sure,
yeah, it does work.
Although these days it is easier to just skip commercials and you don't have to see as much.
That is correct. But, now you can do everything. In Dish, we actually have it's got the little kangaroo, and you can skip the commercials. It depends if it's recorded on the prime time stuff. Like you can some of the stuff you could record, and then of course if you just put it on the DVR, you can skip the commercials. It's a pain in the neck, but you could certainly do that. Well, speaking of a pain in the neck, but you could like Lens Burning Bush on Facebook at Lens Burning Bush. Make sure you make sure you follow Lens Burning Bush, Miss Nicole O'Brian. I would like you to do that, and follow at Lens Burning Bush on Twitter. Just like Justin did, and Justin was able to tweet at me.
Oh, Justin again.
Justin again. We're giving him a third topic here. And there's a
Have you looked up Justin? What does he look like?
Oh, I know Justin.
Is he single?
Actually, I know who he is. I know he's married.
Oh, you do?
He's married. Oh. He's married. He's a little younger too, but that wouldn't, Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah, he's married. I'm sorry. He's happily married. So.
Okay. Well, good for you, Justin. I'm happy to hear that.
Well, he's going to like this episode of Len's Burning Bush. You can watch it. You're watching it now on the YouTube channel at Len's Burning Bush and Lenny L 1015. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the ding dong, whatever the bell, and get all that together. We're all over the place. We're on Twitter live. You're on Facebook Live, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn. You can even ask Alexa to play Len's Burning Bush, but Nicole, make sure you say Len's Burning Bush podcast, because you don't know what's going to come up if you ask him for just anything. So good stuff. I want to end this with I want you to listen to my friends Blue Jelly. They came up with a theme song, and for Len's Burning Bush, you heard a little bit of it in the intro, and I'm just going to play it on the background till it comes on. But this is Blue Jelly, a band in Northern Kentucky, and I appreciate them. And they came on the show, and this is the Len's Burning Bush theme song, and performed by Blue Jelly. So we'll let this run a little bit as it goes.
Len's bush is burning, it's burning for you. Len's bush is burning, it's burning for you. Len's bush is burning, it's burning for you. Len's bush is burning, it's burning for you.
It certainly is burning for you. And Nicole, it's been many years. We're friends, and we want to keep it going. And I love seeing you. It's been terrific.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
Glad we keep in touch.
Absolutely. Let's keep.
The pandemic's been rough. I haven't really kept in touch with a lot of people.
Well, I'm glad that you keep in touch with me, and I'm glad you came on. But thank you to Nicole O'Brian. I'm Len Harvey. We'll be back with another episode of Len's Burning Bush next week. So long.